Good evening, we'll go ahead and start the meeting. Thank you for all coming. The first item on the agenda tonight is actually to choose a chairman and a co-chair, vice chair. Correct, ma'am?
Correct. After you vote, I have ballots in front of you, blank ballots. After you do that, I'll collect them. You know what, you should have done two, so that you'll have, what? Should have done after you're gonna need a vice.
You go what?
You're gonna need a vice after this.
Chair this myself.
Please.
Didn't develop a big paper.
It looks a lot better than your previous ones, I'll tell you right now.
You did that pretty neat.
Yeah, you did it very neat. Just take this.
Chair?
Chair. 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 Mike Perkins, it is unanimous that you will serve as chair. And you have another piece of paper there. You can give me a vice chair, please. Thank you.
Spare.
That was mine. I took one from there.
Dana, you are vice chair. Congratulations.
Second item is consider approving minutes held from December 19th.
I make a motion to approve those minutes.
Motion made, do we have a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor? Moving on, I'd like to take and move some items out of order. So if we can take item number 10, authorizing blanket letter of approval for gaming at the American Legion. So we can get you home, sir, if that's all right. Unless you'd like to stay, you're more than welcome.
I'm going to let Jan address this. She's the one that's done the application. Or ask Jan to do that.
Okay, so every year, the council needs to give their approval for the Legion to be holding games of chance. It's a blanket letter, and you submit reports to the state every month to get those.
Yes.
But we just need to give one letter, and that gives our approval, and we've done that repeatedly for a number of years.
I make a motion, we give the Legion a letter, giving them approval to have games a chance.
Motion made, second?
Second.
Second, all in favor? Thank you, sir. That was quick and easy.
Thank you.
No, sir, thank you.
You can stay if you wish.
You're more than welcome to stay.
This will be business. Thank you.
Item number 3 is to select a construction manager for the fire station.
Thank you. The facilities committee's been working hard on this. What I handed you is one, the request for financial bid on this. This was prepared by Construction Consolidated Maine. I should have the principal, Rick McKenzie, present to answer any questions on this. You also have a analysis that was done by Rick, and it compared the 4 construction companies that had submitted bids. They were Bowman Constructors, J.F. Scott Construction, Willett Construction, and Sheridan Corporation. If you turn to the second page, Rick can explain the breakdowns. If you have any questions, you can look at the very bottom number. This is where they came in. We have $337,000 for Bowman, $253,000 for J.F. Scott, $384,000 for Willett, and $291,000 for Sheridan. As you remember, or you may remember, John Scott was the company who was responsible for overseeing this project here at the police department, and
You said page 2, but it's the second page from the back.
Second page.
Yes,
Page 2 on the, John Scott Company built the police department. The committee actually interviewed both Sheridan and John Scott 2 days ago, and the committee has recommended John Scott for the job. If you have any questions, we have the committee chairman, Boyd Stoughton, present. We have several of our committee members present, and we have Rick McKenzie present to answer any technical questions.
Don Bowman.
Could Rick just go through a brief summary of the highlights of what their proposals, the two finalists had for the council they did.
Sure. To start with, the 4 firms that we solicited, all 4 of them were capable of doing the project, and some obviously probably more capable than others, but all could have done an incredible job. So it was my intent to take a look at their fees that they would charge for the project, what their general condition cost would be, which would be their on-site overhead for their supervision, labor, etc. Then any contingencies that they would carry as they did the estimates to the project to come up with what each firm would charge the town of Oakland to take and construct this. And that's the most competitive way to take and look at each firm and their fees and what it would cost to have that firm build the project for us. From there, they're responsible for getting competitive numbers on all the trades. If you took a look at the bottom lines on this, J.F. Scott, I did make an adjustment on a couple of items. One of them was I put everybody so that they had the same amount of money for winter conditions. It's kind of a subjective thing that each of them put in there, and I adjusted them all so that they had $1,500 because we anticipate having the building closed and just heating the building for the last couple of months of the project. And when I adjusted those numbers, J.F. Scott had the lowest combined fee of $253,773. Sheridan was next at $291,107, which is $37,334 more. Bowman Brothers was $337,086, which was $83,000 more than the low bidder. And then Willett Construction out of Brunswick was $384,820, which was $131,000 and some change higher than J.F. Scott. We did interview both firms the other day. They both interviewed very well, both of them very capable. I think that Sheridan probably had, I don't think, they do have more depth to the organization. The fact that this was a wood frame structure, I think that J.F. Scott had a leg up on it because they do more wood frame construction. Sheridan indicated they probably would subcontract that piece of the work. But I think that they both did a fine job of presenting their qualifications the other day. So if there's any specific questions, I'd be happy to try and answer them.
Questions? Seeing none?
I'd make a motion, we accept the recommendation of J.F. Scott for the construction project.
Motion is made. We have a second. All in favor of J.F. Scott? Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for all your hard work, really, we do appreciate it.
Thanks for coming out tonight during the storm.
Thank
Thank you for coming out. Item number 4, consideration of property tax abatement. Kathy?
Kathy, I've actually handed you some paperwork in regards to that. Kathy, you got copies of those yourself? Because if you know it, you can have mine.
I guess I kind of know the whole thing anyway. In 2006, Keith Brockway and his wife started building a house on Madeline Drive. I have been out there every year, at least once a year, sometimes twice in the spring and in the fall, to see what improvements have been made. And over the years, they've been making improvements slowly along the way. And sometimes I got in, sometimes I didn't. And when I didn't get in, and it looked like there was things that were going on the inside that I could see in the door or a window, then I would add a little value. Some years I could not because there was a dog that really wanted my front fender. And I wasn't going out that way. So eventually, I kept increasing the values. Never heard anything. Never heard anything. And so this last year, I increased it, not this April, the April before, I increased it to $130. Just the building, the land was fine. The building to $130,000. And when I went out in April of 2018, the owner was there. And I said, I really need to see what's been done. Well, when I went through, it's not much more than a shell. And I mean, there was open studding, there was very little plumbing, no heating system, other than fireplace, wood stove. And so I reduced its value to April 1st. I reduced the value to 62.3. And that was in this year. So his valuation dropped from 2017 to 2018. And so when he came to me in, I don't know, a few weeks before the initial abatement request, he said he wanted to go back because he talked to somebody and they said, I want to go back 5 years. I've already reduced his value, so there's nothing I could do for this year. I reduced his value to where I felt it should be. And state law says that anything further would have to go to the municipal officers. And you can only go for 2 years from the date of commitment. And the date of commitment was in July of this past year. So I took care of the first year, and now I'm asking that you take care of the 2 years that he was over assessed. And that's all by state law that you can do.
So we're looking for a tax abatement of $1,671.47.
And that does not include interest.
So, Kathy, I have the letter that you sent to, to Gary. We have a copy of that. It lays out what you just explained. And in your first paragraph, if you remember the last sentence, says something that I don't understand. It says the municipal officers may not grant an abatement to correct an error in the valuation of the property. What does that mean? Isn't that what we're doing?
There's 2 ways to look at that. It was my error in the assessed value, but it was different that it wasn't as the same as everybody else's. It was an error that I made in my judgment. Not so much an error in valuation, but an error in my judgment based on the depreciation or the unfinished factor.
Okay, I guess. I mean, so give me a for instance then of what an error in valuation would be where the municipal officers couldn't fix it.
If I had
Is that
been-
like the mill rate would be the,
No,
No, it's-
it wouldn't be a mill.
Okay, I'll let you-
That would be statewide.
I'll let you
As if I
explain.
was assessing you for 200 acres and you only had 100 acres. So it would be an error that you were being overassessed because of acreage-wise. The error would be in the acreage rather than in my judgment.
And if you did that, the municipal officers couldn't grant an abatement. It says here.
Correct.
Okay. I have a hard time following that, but I trust your good judgment, and I really don't understand that. So. There are 2 kinds of errors that you could make. One that we can fix and one that we can't fix.
Correct.
Evidently. Okay. I'm done.
Okay. The state law gives you the authority to grant back 2 years past tense. And that's where we're at right now. The gentleman needs to have his taxes paid. He was overtaxed, and we're asking you to make the decision to allow us to send that money back.
I'll make a motion, we grant that abatement for the 2 years prior to the year that Kathy did.
A second.
Second, my vote. All in favor?
Okay? Thank you.
Anything else, Ken? Anything else? Why, you got the floor.
Not
Nice to
that I
see you
can
back.
think of, it's gonna be a slow ride home.
Nice to see you back. Thank you for coming in. An update on the senior center.
Okay, Mr. Gartley and I have been working behind the scenes on this, trying to come up with some reasonable solution to make it affordable for the town of Oakland, to provide the resource for the seniors who are looking to get this done. I certainly find that this is going to be very beneficial. As everybody knows, our state is aging, we have more needs, the demographics are changing across the state. The town of Oakland is no different than that. I know that there's been some discussion about using Memorial Hall. My concern about Memorial Hall is we have a tenant in that. It's going to complicate things with him. The other issue that we've discovered just recently was our risk management had gone into the building. There's a stove in there. They won't allow us to use that stove because of the heating, not the heating system, but the hood system. We have to put some type of fire suppression in there along with that, which comes with quite cost. So what you have here is a memorandum of understanding between the school and the town. I talked with Mr. Gartley. It looks like we can probably get this property for $300 a month. That includes all the heat, all the electricity. We go with a short-term lease to begin with, which would bring us until the end of June, so that we can find out exactly what the seniors are planning on doing, how the programs are going to be established, and nothing that's going to lock us into a year, 6 months. We're open for discussion. They're kind of, the ball's in our park at this point in time. I've talked with our risk management insurance company, MMA, and it'll be very little cost to the town as far as the insurance goes on this. So I'm all ears.